Hello. How intriguing. Hi, Aaron. Hope you're well. No, we didn't blow away. Fortunately, it was south of where we live, although it is still blowing quite a hoolie outside. Hope you're well. This is very spontaneous. I've just eaten dinner. I've got a couple of hours to spare, so I thought I'd jump on. I'm still working out the software, and I've got a fancy new microphone. So I'm hoping the quality of the podcast audio, certainly from my side of the deal, will improve. I'm even sure I'm going through this. Now, most people would sort this sort of thing out before live, but life on the edge. That's good. Frostgrave, I have on my shelf to my left, but not actually tried out yet. But I've sort of got a plan to build this. We have a Kings of War slow grow league going on at my club. And ogres, well, you don't need many of them. I can need about 18 figures to make the 1,000-point list that people are at the moment. I do quite enjoy Kings of War. The camera is actually just sort of resting on the top of the laptop. It's all very Heath Robinson. So they're Mantic, and I think it's a mixture of plastic and resin. But, well, let's crack it open. Let's see. I've been sorting in. I've been up into my loft or my attic to most of today, sorting through figures that I'm going to sell and books that I'm going to give away, and for quite a morbid reason, really, because although I'm hoping to be around for a few years yet, I've got this horrible fear of leaving my wife with a mountain of lead, and she doesn't know what the hell she has got on her hands. She does have instructions to speak to my two best friends who are my main gaming buddies. This box is a bit crushed, actually. Useful bit of packaging. So yeah, the GW Ogres are absolutely fantastic. They are, without a shadow of a doubt, the market leaders, aren't they, in fantasy? And I've been down that route numerous times with GW, mainly with Warhammer Fantasy, but not so much 40k. A load of MDF bases, but these will be multi-based. I'm guessing these are 5 centimetre, yeah, 5 centimetre bases. Not sure what that one's for. It might be for there's some sort of goblin cavalry included in this box. But I won't be using any of these MDF bases that it's come with. There's actually a metal figure here. No idea. I think he must be some sort of magician or sorcerer. I actually quickly quite like the Mantic Ogres. I'm a big fan of Mantic in general. I'm a big supporter of them. I understand that GW are the market leaders, no question. I'm assuming there's a head for this guy somewhere, but he ain't in the bag. That's good stuff. I can see the bit on the sprue where the head should be. Do you do the magnets on your stuff? Mantic stuff looks good. Not really. I have magnetized things in the past. War Machine stuff, principally the big steam jacks that you used to get with multiple options. I did magnetize them. But most of this is actually either plastic or resin. I think most of this is plastic, actually. What's it say on here? Does it say? I've had this for probably 18 months to 2 years. It's the first time I've opened it. And it doesn't say. There's clearly 2 characters. Just move that away. Oh, browser has lost connection. What the? Sorry about that. What's that happened? Your browser has lost connection to the camera. Yes, we do. Start camera. Will it work? We do. There we go. We do have a group of, and Kings of War actually is getting great guns. There's probably 10 or 12 people at the club that are playing. So yes, you can probably just about see in this pool light. There's 2 characters. I'm assuming this one's metal as well. But so far, I'm missing his head. And then there's 18 Ogre Warriors. Now, the good thing with Kings of War is that you can multi-base these figures. And although, for instance, if a base actually represents 6 figures, theoretically you could just use one figure because it's the base that counts. There's no casualty removal. The base lives or dies as a whole, so the regiment or the formation lives or dies as a whole. That's interesting. I think the other character is in this little buggy here, and he looks plastic. So there's 9 guys with ranged weapons. Either, I think that's some sort of blunderbuss, but I think they can have crossbows. There are 10 of these guys that are like goblin beast riders, not wolf riders as such. These are called more beasts in the Mantic universe. I think they're like red goblins actually. And then there's 18 of these guys, the warriors, but these can be they can be built as 3 or 4 different troop types within the ogre range. So that's what we'll be doing. I'm not sure how many. There's lots of these baggies. Even more 5 centimeter square. No, I think in the GW world, let's put that up because it is just me and you, Alan. There was somebody else here for a moment, but in the GW world, they'd sort of got a mercenary thing going on. They were attracted to gold and shiny things, but could basically be hired out. It's quite interesting actually in the fluff for Kings of War, in the Kings of War universe, or the world is called Panithor, and as is normal these things, it's a good versus evil general trope, and there's 3 alignments as such. There's good, evil, and neutral, and the ogres are neutral. Because they're also mercenary, wandering tribe aesthetic, I suppose. But they've never been able to find a home. They're wandering the wilds of Panithor with no real home, having been displaced from their ancestral homes many centuries ago in the fluff. Guys with hand weapons. Guys with hand weapons. Hand weapons. So if there's 18, how many do we think of? I've got some sort of shooter. I'm also actually thinking about going into bolt action. I don't know if you've any experience of bolt action, Aaron, but again, it's another thing that's big at my club at the moment. At least half a dozen people playing bolt action, as opposed to the Lardy type games, which don't do it. What, don't do bolt action? Okay. It would only be a small investment if I did. So there must be 3 figures per bag. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 2 of these. Okay, so one of these must also have shooters in it. There we go. Okay, so bags of 3. And I'll put those on the side. I'm assuming there'll be some Sparehead, but the Lordies will keep your army smaller. Yeah, I played Chain of Command. Did enjoy it. However, our gaming group didn't particularly, and I'm sure, as you know, if you're part of a gaming group, you sort of have to go with the current zeitgeist that's prevalent at the club. And as much as I try to promote it, Bolt Action have really got too much of a hold. Nobody does British, ironically, at the moment. Yeah, that is the way it goes. Nobody does British at the moment, so I'm thinking that I will do a small British. It was probably just 1,000 points to start with. You can get the starter army box set for about £70 to £80. I'm not sure the dollar value on that, but I'll give that a go, I think. Excuse me, I just said that. I am painting a commission for a friend later. Again, I would prefer to do May 1940 Blitzkrieg in France, the fall of France, with the option of doing Operation Sea Lion as well. But the majority of the guys at the club are very much Normandy and onwards. So just to fit in with them. Yeah, I agree. Dunkirk British would be very interesting. In fact, I nearly started a Chain of Command project to do just that using the Artisan design figures. Or is it Crusader Games? Sold by the same company, but one is late war and one is early war. And they're lovely metal figures, which I prefer. I'm not a big fan of plastic. I think these are going to be resin, which is going to cause me powers will be foot sluggers. There is somebody with a few paras. Arnhem is really my main sort of late war interest. I listened to the latest Two Fat Lordies Oddcast last night, which talks about Arnhem. Their plans to play an Arnhem themed game in the Hartenstein Hotel in Oosterbeek. That sounds marvellous. But yeah, somebody else has got them. The new British Canadian combined set looks really good. So I might, there's a show coming up in, how long? 2 weeks. In fact, 2 weeks today, I think. I might just I'll either pick up the starter army with 1,000 points in it, or just buy the box set with about 30 figures in it, and just really take my time with it. There's no sort of rush. I've got lots of 6mm projects on the go. I am trying to downsize, as I mentioned. I was in the loft earlier today preparing for a big sale. I've got a buyer for a lot of stuff to clear out, so that should anything catastrophic happen to me in the short term, my wife won't be left with a bucket load of figures that she doesn't know what to do with. So yeah, although it doesn't sound like I'm trying to reduce my gaming burden, or the plastic mounting. I had that box, but Dad wanted to do US Paras, so I did the gems. I would love to do US Paras. I've watched Band of Brothers countless times. In fact, I watched it again a couple of weeks ago. There's just something about the story of Easy Company as it progresses from D-Day through to the fall of Berlin, really. It's a series that will stand the test of time for many years to come. I did enjoy the Pacific. I know the Pacific has got its detractors, and in fact, I do. That reminds me, I do have some US Marines and Japanese, the Island Assault box set, but the guys at the club are all sort of Northwest Europe, and I'm not really into this. This thing where people will play Imperial Japanese Army against Waffen SS. There's got to be a real strong element of history to any game I play. I can't really get enthused about equal points games and putting together making two armies fight each other that historically didn't fight each other. That's not really my bag. So these are resin, which means I'm going to have to super glue them. When I go back to World War II skirmish, thinking, yeah, well, 15 or even 10 mil. Was it you that did 10 mil chain of command? Or I ain't been shot, Mum. I think I'd probably go 10 mil, to be honest. I mean, for yourself, yeah. For yourself, being able to print off all those buildings, those Western buildings you printed are gorgeous. Being able to print off all of the scenery that you need, and probably the tanks as well, I would imagine. Could you print 10 mil? Is that a genuine offer? Because I'd probably take you up on that. Could you print 10? You must be able to print 10 mil figures, of course you can. Right. I'm the most disorganized hobbyist you will ever come across. So I have to use this stuff as my super glue. It's odorless, and I've got a terrible allergy to regular super glue. This does the job, but it's slightly slower in drying. So typically I have to hold the figures together a bit longer than you would ordinarily do. And the I do have accelerant, but that is dried up rocket super glue. But it doesn't work particularly well on this version of super. This is still a cyano glue, non-blooming cyano glue, bonds in 10 to 20 seconds. But it doesn't work particularly well with the accelerator, so this may be the end of my putting these together. I have bought a new bottle. Fresh new bottle. the wonders of Jeff Bezos. Thank you, Jeff. So what are you, what's on your table at the minute, and what's sparking you off into the creative soul that you are? If you splashed it all over Twitter and I've missed it, I do apologise. Right, let's count 20 seconds. Go by the timer on the screen. My daughter's got a friend over who is staying the night. Okay, well, that's pretty good. So, oh no. Spoke too soon. All the rest, yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. 2 mil bull run using which rules? I won't say all freedom, but I don't think that's the rules you're using. I've seen some of your 2 mil stuff. It's been looking fantastic. That probably needs a little bit longer than 20 seconds to hold. There's somebody else here. Say hello. Oh, your own, yeah. There you go. Say hello. Join in the conversation. I'm actually seriously considering a major 6 mil World War II project. But I really can't decide which theatre or which what size of game. So whether to do company level, I have to say I'm really enjoying Ultra Freedom, but I can see why people wouldn't enjoy it. Absolutely. I think it would be a bit boring if we all liked the same sort of thing, because there'd be no creativity then. Yeah, so do I go sort of grand tactical with Spearhead or something like that? All hell up loose, they interest me. Or down to something like O Group, which is, I think, battalion level, or Rapid Fire, which is quite an old school set of rules these days. Or down to company level using in an interwar US along the Mississippi. That sounds interesting. What happened to your War of Independence project? That was sounding really interesting when we last spoke. I've literally just finished painting up my Bacchus War of Independence figures. I say finished. I've got enough now to fight Guildford Courthouse. And I did that. It fizzled in COVID. Yeah, well, I can forgive you that. Many things fizzled for me in COVID. It'd be more interesting if you could see what I'm actually doing down here. Yeah, Joe 6. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I know that there's discussions with that was TV guys. I mean, they really need to work on my presentation for these streams. As my mom said, you've got a face for radio, son. This is very Heath Robinson, this setup. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the American Revolution. Sorry, not War of Independence. Present company accepted. I've really enjoyed painting those up with the main aim of using Ruse de Guerre, which is in the Polymos series by Glenn Pierce. The reports say it's the most accessible version of the Polymos series, which got quite a few detractors. But there is a blog. Absolutely. Thank you, Aaron. It's long overdue that you're back on the podcast, so let's talk about that another time. But hope the game was good. Kevin, how are you, mate? Aaron's World War II stuff, especially his Battle of Berlin, is great. 3D printed his victory monument. Those, was it the flat towers? They really impressed me. How are you, Kev? Are you at the club this week? It's good of you to say hello all. Aaron's just about to pop off, and then it'll just be me and you, Kev. I can't complain. I didn't announce it. I've just come on an absolute whim. Thinking let's try out this new headset. Aaron tells me the sound is good. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yes, Kev, are you down the club this week? I'm down, I think, playing Kings of War with Aid. But I'm not quite sure after that. We're planning on doing Second Manassas using my 6mm ACW, but the timing just doesn't quite fit. So it might be after the next time we take down tables. But that's okay. Don't think I'm weird. I do lick or moisten one half of the join when I use this glue. Might be depends. I'll text you later. Yeah. Let us know, mate. I do still owe you that game of patrols in the Sudan. And once again, on the verge of having a mass clear out of stuff I've not used for a long time. I was just saying to Aaron, I've been in the loft sorting out books and boxes of figures and all sorts of crap. I suppose I ought to stick these to a base, really, to paint them on. Trusty glue gun to the rescue. Are you working on anything at the moment, Kev? What's on your painting table? Doing any commissions for anyone, or doing something for yourself? Some sexy new projects nobody knows about? It's not quite the Plastic Crap podcast, is it, this? No. But I like jumping on every now and then and just talking. One of the good things, actually, will be creating a load more space, because space isn't infinite. There's a finite amount of space available. But I'm actually building fantasy ogres here, Kev. Don't think he'll love me. They're actually really nice figures. Please don't think he'll love me. It's quite nice. There's a few extra heads. We've got a character figure here with no head, but plus, let's have a look. What does this say? I've lost my mojo, mate. I know exactly how you feel, my friend. Mojo comes and goes, sometimes within the space of a couple of hours. If I could bottle the mojo, I would, because I hate losing my mojo. I'm actually painting a commission for Jeff White at the moment, which I'm actually really enjoying, and it's why I'm most likely getting into 28mm bolt action, getting some British. How's this doing? Glue required. Getting some British using the. I can't remember. Do you play bolt action, Kev? I can't remember. Just been delivered. Just look at that.
It's very yummy.
Thank you. How nice is that? See, why is he wobbly? Yeah, mojo's a terrible thing, mate, when it goes. It really is. And it can seemingly go in the blink of an eye. As I said, sometimes in the space of an hour, you can be painting happily away, and then suddenly you hit a brick wall and you think, I do not want to look at another figure ever again. The only advice I can give, mate, is don't force it. It will return. Once you've got the gene of wargaming in your blood, it never goes away. That's my experience. Never ever goes away. So I'm on a massive World War I kick at the moment. Where you gone, Kev? Oh well. Nice to see you, mate. Are you back? Is that still you, Kev? Now, one viewer. If you're not Kev, say hello. Anybody coming for 6mm content, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you, because I'm actually building Mantic Games Orcs. Not Orcs, Ogres. True, it's slowly coming back. Blame Alex. I'm done. I have got German Paras on the screen. Brilliant. Brill. I have to say, I'm enjoying painting the 28mm 4Jeff. And it's really that sparked me on to think, I'll just get myself a little British Army. Keith has bought masses of it, which probably surprises you. Can't believe Keith has been and bought a ton of stuff. Yeah, Alex is very is one of these influencers. I think that's probably what you call it, where you see something he's doing and you think, oh, I wouldn't mind giving that a go. I trust you weren't Brit Paris wrong. Yeah, I was just saying to Aaron that Arnhem, I'm not a huge World War II aficionado, it has to be said. But Arnhem is where it's at for me in the World War II stakes. And if you listen to the latest Lardy cast, that's very interesting. Talking about playing Chain of Command in the Hartenstein Hotel. That would be equivalent to, I would imagine, the Little Wars TV guys playing the Battle of Gettysburg on the battlefield itself in I think it was Lee's headquarters, was it, for a short time? Oh, gosh. And of course, the film is, although not particularly historic, is just incredible. Went to the York show actually, a couple of weeks ago now, and played in Charles Roundtree's game, Breakout Manor. Which was great, with individually based 6mm figures. I think they were Adler. But more to the point, Charles has also built an Arnhem game where he's got aerial photographs of the area around the bridge and has recreated that on the table, almost building for building, and it's the most incredible thing. I've never actually seen it in the flesh yet. Seen pictures of it which are just jaw-dropping. So I will be doing a 6mm World War II project at some point, and I've got a feeling yeah, being Keith. My dice rolling was absolutely abysmal. Keith, as usual, was the genius, not just with the dice rolling, but with lands and just about everything, really. As you know, Kev, I am no master of the tabletop when it comes to gaming. So, unfortunately, I thought these figures were going to be plastic, but they're resin, which causes me some grief, unfortunately, because I'm allergic to super glue. But I have found, I've been using this for some time now, Rocket Odorless Cyano glue, and it is a super glue, ostensibly. It just takes about twice as long to dry as normal super glue. But without it, I really wouldn't be able to do anything with these figures because I would be crippled by it, by the super glue. And that is no exaggeration. I have in the past occasionally bitten the bullet and thought I need to get these figures done, or I just can't get any hobbying done. I've had to grin and bear it, and within, it actually takes probably 5 or 6 hours, but within that time, my eyes are streaming, my nose is streaming. I am a complete wreck. It's probably not wise to actually do that. I would imagine if there's a doctor on here, I'd be saying that's not a good idea. You have an allergy. But fortunately, I found this Rocket Odorless stuff. It costs about £8 a bottle. But for the amount of super gluing I have to do, it's okay. So I'm just sticking these ogres onto these MDF bases. I've got the arms, the heads and the shields in front of me, and I'm going to try and build all 18 ogre warriors tonight. There's only, how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 parts. There's 3 ogres in a bag. I've done 12, 6 to go. I'm giving them all hand weapon and shield, so I can get rid of all of the extra bits. Just sort them through. There's some heads. And being Mantic resin, there's a few bits to cut off. Don't have to be particularly careful about this because these are ogres. You can't imagine their armour and weapons would be the most well kept and preserved in all the lands of Panithor, which is where Kings of War is set. Same here, it's the fun play of the game. I always get stuck when I use super, also on the bottles work. Yeah. Yep. I've come to a bit of a realization post-Christmas that it's pointless me trying to go to organised events for the Mantic games that I really enjoy, because either my work schedule changes at the last minute, or my daughter's got a football or tennis match, or my wife's work schedule changes at the last minute. And I think there's 3 I should have been to already this year, and I couldn't make any of them. So I think what I'm going to do in the future, rather than book them way in advance, is to wait until the week before, because these things very rarely sell out, and even if they do sell out, there's always generally a dropout on the day. So I think for my own sanity, I think I'll make sure I do it like that in the future, because it is disappointing when you're enthused to go to an event. I don't like to call them tournaments because I'm rubbish at these games, and there's nowhere I go along to have any thoughts about winning. I mean, obviously, it's nice to win a game, of course it is, but it's really just for the social aspect. And when even that's denied you, it can be a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. But I am thoroughly enjoying getting back to a regular schedule of the podcast. And I think the thought of releasing on the 14th and 28th of every month is keeping me honest with the recordings. Gives me a target. I know it's far more organised. It's very haphazard in the past, where I'd contact somebody and said, "You fancy coming on?" and then record, and I put it out probably a week later, and then sometimes I've had 3 episodes backing up. But doing it this way just makes it more, I suppose, a little bit more professional. So I've been on nearly an hour. I'll probably do another hour. So these are the 18 warriors. I'm hot gluing them onto these bases. These are only going to be temporary bases because they will be multi-base. Okay, let's see what we got here. So wish me luck with the sign out. Always moisten the joint. Actually, don't know if that helps or not. But if I do one at a time. There shouldn't be any drama. Trouble with hot glue, I don't know if you've ever experienced this yourself, but it creates lots of little stringy bits all over the place. I do like these ogre models. Very basic. Hey, that's okay, so am I. Been really pleased to see mate of mine Aid getting very enthusiastic about Kings of War. He sent me some updates through today which look marvellous. Oh, there we go. Didn't moisten this one. Let's just see if it will still stick. No is the answer. So the moistening does make a difference. As I say, with the this special super glue, it does take, or it can take a little bit longer for the bond to work, but just by moistening the joint as I press it onto the glue, it does seem to bond. It's essentially why you find it very easy to glue your fingers together, because there is moisture in your fingers that attracts the super glue. And I think I'm right in saying that super glue was invented to close wounds on the battlefield. Now, was that Korea or was that Vietnam? Not a trick question. I don't know myself. I do know it was one of them. I think it was Vietnam. So, Kev, did it come up on YouTube that I'd gone live? I'm not really quite sure how these things work. It just announced that God's Own Scale had gone live. I've said how much I hate gluing figures together. I can sit and paint all day, but ask me to glue figures together, I would rather stick pins in my eyes. It's the one job in this hobby that I absolutely detest. Having said that, the US troops that I'm doing for Jeff White down at mine and Kev's club, I've actually been quite enjoying, because the figures are just so damn nice. They are absolutely gorgeous figures. It's my first experience of Warlord figures, but they look bloody beautiful. Oh, come on, Sean. Yep. There you go. Yep. So that's yes, that you got a notification that I'd gone live. That's interesting, because this is through the free version of StreamYard. It's the same platform that Classic Crack use, but they obviously use a paid version of it, because they have all the sexy graphics. But me, I'm too cheap. I'm going to put this comment on the screen that you just put up, Kev. I don't understand it. I have just tipped a hollow essay, and my phone just started to play up. What's a hollow essay? What is tipping a hollow essay? Tipping. I just tipped a hollow essay. Actually, they typed a hollow essay. Whole essay. Whole essay? Typed a whole essay. You're doing another course? I'm gutted that the Britain and the First World War MA finished at Wolverhampton. Jeff White's done it. That speaks very highly of it. In fact, it's given me a couple of really good books on Mons. The whole. There you go. Yeah, I was gutted that had finished because I would have loved to have done that. That would have been right up my Strasse, as they say in Germany. Well, thank God there's no more pieces on these ogres than is necessary, because this is 15th I've done. And all I've done is put the weapon arm on. Shield and head to come. Possibly the most boring thing you can do on a live stream. Possibly. But we wargamers suffer for our art, don't we? Let's have to spend way more time painting and hobbying than we do actually playing, for some god unknown reason. Well, let's face it, we wouldn't be playing the games if we didn't. Okay, well, that was okay. That was okay. Let's have a little bit of Mrs. Clark's homemade coffee and walnut cake. That's all right. Well done, Mrs. Clark. Okay, here we go. Round 2. Shield arm. So these can be used as ogre warriors or ogre siege breakers. Yes, siege breakers. Who knew? Bet you didn't know that, Kev. Bet you didn't know that you're gonna click on the link and find out that these ogres could be built as warriors or siege breakers, depending on the whim of the person putting them together. I actually think with bolt action, I'd have liked to do, and I know everybody does it, Easy Company, for obvious reasons. But oddly enough, nobody at the club is playing British. We've got no British figures. So my thinking was just to do quick 1,000 points, no messing. Couple of tanks at the most, couple of vehicles at the most, Jeep maybe. The usual Piats and support type troops, mortars, kind of thing. Because really it's all about 6mm. So 6mm this year. Get ready for this, Kev. 6mm this year. Ambitious this is, but hope you're ready. 6mm this year. Have you got a webcam on the computer you're watching me on, Kev? Would you like to join the stream? But 6mm this year, so plans are Great War Spearhead, the Somme, which is underway. I've painted 1.5 British divisions out of the 3 I need. Blenheim, because I've always wanted to do Blenheim. Then either or all of, I'll do it in chronological order, Austerlitz, Borodino, and Waterloo. Now, that's not all going to happen this year, but I think because of how things have gone, with things going so well down the club, very tempted to do all 3 of those Napoleonic battles. Most likely using a half-scale volume bayonet with which will allow me to play it on 6x4 table. However, one or all 3 of those might end up being played on a bigger table because of the resources we have down at the club. I haven't quite made my mind up on that. That version of events obviously involves a lot more figure painting and possibly more than I want to do. But they are, for me, the 3 most iconic battles of the Napoleonic Wars. Obviously, one of the great problems is that, well, not problems, but issues, is that, I suppose Borodino and Waterloo could use the same French army, but Russians, Austrians, and British. So there's 3 armies, and the French I'd have to do in bicorns because that's principally what they were wearing at the time. So the 1812/1815 French just, I'm afraid, wouldn't cut it, even in 6mm. Maybe I should do it chronologically and do Austerlitz this year. Well, I say do Austerlitz, I've got to, let's do Blenheim first. Looks nice. My missus has just finished making bread. The ogres look nice too. I have 1,000 points Brit Paris with support. Nope, I'm on my phone. Don't, I'm a butterfly. Stop it. Well, this is the problem with me, Kev. Over the years, I've been this hobby butterfly who has basically just bought everything. And it does get to the stage where you think, this has got to stop. Because one, I can't do everything. I haven't got the time. In some cases, the money. And also, oh, Sean, what have you done here? Last bloody one. And also, I want to be leaving Lisa with, when I shuffle off this molten coil, which may be sooner rather than later in some respects, I don't want to be leaving Lisa with a loft full of figures that she's got no idea what to do with. I think it will have to be a case of a couple of the lads coming over, looking through what I've got, and dealing with it. However, put that head on upside down. However, the clear out I'm having is going to mitigate that somewhat. So come the big day when I do shuffle away, it'll be an easy job for her. To resolve. Yeah, so that, oh Christ, you took my finger off there. Although I'm talking about new projects, it is going to be fully audited and moderated so that things don't get out of hand, and it all remains at manageable levels. I mean it to be morbid. There's nothing impending that I'm aware of, but I'm at an age where something could go wrong very quickly. So it's only fair to her that I make sure my affairs are in order. So now are we 1 minute 1 hour 14? Must get down to the club there, Kev, and let's get some games in. And I always find, actually, I talked about don't force the issue with your painting and your hobby, but it's nothing like playing a game to get your mojo back. Of course, it can end up being expensive. But you're a war gamer. You know the risks. You know what it's all about. Well, these have gone together a lot quicker than I thought. I may in fact build. It says that, and the first head falls off. So there are 2 characters to build as well. The actual aim, and I'm not quite sure this is going to happen, but would be to paint up. I think I need 18 of these. And have a game with them on Friday night. Not certain that will happen. In which case it'll be back to the doors. Oh, shit. There we go. So 5 more heads to go on. I've got a sprue with 5 heads, which is just fine and dandy. There we go. Ever done any fantasy, Kev? Seem to recall not. Seem to have it in the head that you haven't. Hoping to be down the Club Friday. Good. Well, it's always good to see you, mate. The club is absolutely buzzing at the minute. A couple of old faces are returned. A couple of new faces have come. These are ugly little mothers, I have to say, these ogres. It's quite appropriate, obviously. Whoever met a handsome ogre, I tell you. Yes, when I was young, Middle Earth. Is that the RPG or? With miniatures. I had the Middle Earth role-playing game, the original version. I think it was by Iron Crown. I'm sure it stands the test of time up against the more modern. RPGs out there, but Dwarf Army. Very nice. Lots of good people play dwarves. Well, I'm impressed that it's only taken me that long to build 18 There it goes. So I've got this character. Well, first of all, he needs sticking down to a base, as does this figure. He's a resin, so this will be relatively straightforward. It's actually a really nice casting, that is. Well done to, I think it's Kirsty, who works in the Mantic resin shop. RPG, yeah, got that, and a little D&D until my figures are stolen. Oh, it's a cricket. As much as I consider myself a historical gamer first and foremost, I've most definitely got a love of all things fantastical as well. And that most definitely stems from RPGs back in the day. Given the choice, it would always be a historical game. But I very much enjoy the role playing we do with some club members. And the heck is this? Alright, okay. Looks like he's got something that's probably hanging out of his belt. But I will. Oh no, it's his head. There's me thinking. Anticon sent me a head. It's actually there all along. Lord's War. Yeah, historical. It's most definitely my medication, mate. It's generally what I think about first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. Some might say it's an obsession. And say, although it's dearer than hookers and hard drugs, it keeps me happy. He's looking pretty fine, I say. Okay. The last bit of the jigsaw. If anybody else uses blue tack to just secure a joint on a metal figure, but you stick a little bit of that's not going to focus. Anyway, stick a little bit of blue tack into a glob of super glue. Put some more super glue over the top of it. There we go. And then just flood the joint with some more super glue. I mean, it'd be far better to pin it, but I'd neither got the time nor the energy. Well, it's entertaining. I'm going to be signing off in a minute, Kev. Having achieved my goal. Let's clear out the lid of my super glue, so it's good to go when I come back to it. £8 a bottle. It pays to look after these things. So that's 20 figures stuck together. Wow. I've impressed myself. All right, Kev, thanks very much for your time. This was an impromptu session just to really try out this new headset, which I'm really hoping is going to improve the sound on the audio podcast. It's the same set that Ken at Yorkshire Gamer uses. Yes, message me tomorrow, mate. Brilliant. Hopefully see you on Friday and speak soon. Cheers.